Hey everybody, it's Doug Schauf with Remax Oceanside at MakeMaineYourHome.com. Hey, today we're going to talk about investing in Maine. We're going to talk about multi-units, fixer-uppers, and a few different towns that might be worth putting your money in. So let's do this. All right, everybody, like I said, today we are going to talk about investing in Maine. I got some notes here, or at least some bullet points to chat about. We're going to talk about multi-units. We're going to talk a little bit about fixer-uppers. What I'm really kind of excited to talk about is like the different towns and what's happening in different areas and things like that, where to maybe put your money. Let's dive right in. The first thing I want to chat about is multi-units. Whenever somebody thinks about investing in, real estate or a specific town or whatever, they always think about, hey, I need a multi-unit. That's one aspect of investing. Multi-units, you can buy 2 to 4 units, is still considered residential, and you can get really great loans for those residential properties, keep your down payment low and potentially be able to pay the mortgage and actually make a lot of cash flow on that. I did a video not all that long ago about a spreadsheet that I put together to help you kind of calculate to see if multi-units are worth the money, and helps you kind of look at the expenses and the income of that. You can check out that in a previous video. But multi-units are a great way to invest anywhere, not just Maine, but a great way to invest. One thing I do want to point out about multi-units is if you're out there, maybe you're a first-time home buyer or younger person, whatnot, kind of looking at getting into real estate, multi-units are a great way to do it. If you buy like a duplex, a 2-unit or a 3 or 4 unit, you live in one of them, rent out the other ones. It basically pays your mortgage, might even be able to give you, some cash flow on a monthly basis. But then also, like as you get older, maybe you start a family, you want to move out, you can still hold on to that asset, which is going to appreciate over time. And then, when you get up to retirement age, you can sell it off and use it as like a retirement plan, but still get cash flow on a monthly basis from it. Anyway, hopefully that helps. And you can also achieve the same thing with even just single families. Like if you had a single family house that you wanted to live in for a while, maybe you move away, I always recommend maybe even holding on to them and rent it out, unless the economy dictates that maybe you do sell it to cash out, like, it's a seller's market and whatnot. But, it's always good to hold on to real estate, make it part of your retirement plan. So anyway, we'll move on from there. That's some info on multi-units. Next up is fixer-uppers. Fixer-uppers, you got to have the stomach for it. You got to be able to have a little bit of vision when it comes to fixer-uppers. Like sometimes a lot of people have a hard time seeing like broken down dump of a house or whatever and see the potential in it. If you're able to find a fixer-upper at the right price and you're able to do the work yourself or hire it out and make the numbers work, you can do really well on fixer-uppers, flipping they call it. The hard part about fixer-uppers are finding them. When the market is very hot, like it's a seller's market, it's just hard to find those deals, they call them, but they are out there. So you just got to know the right people to talk to, how to find them, things like that, and you don't necessarily have to, flip them. If you find a fixer-upper, maybe it's a great idea just to buy it, fix it up and move into it yourself. Could be a good way to buy something and create a lot of equity in your home by buying a fixer-upper. So that's a great way to invest in Maine. Next, I'm going to talk about a few towns in Maine that a lot of people are keeping their eyes on, starting to see some signs of going in the right direction. The first one that we have on our list here is Lewiston, and I suppose Lewiston Auburn has had some issues in the past with like the real estate and things like that. A lot of buildings there that are just in shambles, for lack of a better word. The real estate market in Lewiston Auburn is starting to perform very, very well. You can get some really good deals, and because of that, the numbers work. You can buy 3 units up there, 4 units, or even more for cheap money. You just got to be careful about who the tenants are in there right now, and maybe if you can get the right tenants in there, it could be a great town to keep an eye on over the next 10, 20 years to see what kind of appreciation these buildings are going to do and have. And as of right now, you can get some really good deals on multi-units or single families in the Lewiston Auburn area and really get a great return and make a really great investment in Maine, in that town. So another one I've been having a lot of people look at is Sanford. It's in the kind of southern western part of Maine. It's not all that far from the Saco Biddeford area. We're starting to see, as prices are increasing in the greater Portland area and all up and down the coast here, people are starting to gravitate towards those towns like inland a little bit. And Sanford's great because it's really not a far drive from the ocean. And, it's also not a far drive from like the lake region and the mountains. So it's a really nice area. And again, you can pick up buildings at great prices, and as long as the buildings aren't too run down, or if you have the ability or the finances to be able to fix them up, you could do that, get some great tenants in there and generate some great cash flow in towns like Sanford. That was one that I've had a lot of investors recently asking me about Sanford and start keeping their eyes on that. So, I wanted to point that out, that could be a great town to start looking at. So another one, this is a great town, Westbrook. Right here in the Portland area. When I first moved to Maine 26 years ago, Westbrook was like, the mill was there, and it was the stinky town. I don't know, if you're watching this and you've been in Maine for a while, Westbrook was that town that had quite a smell to it. Fixed that issue, and ever since then, Westbrook is just slowly becoming this nice little town. A lot of updates in the actual town infrastructure. There's just some great areas in Westbrook and a lot of great neighborhoods, reasonably priced. You can still find, here in 2021, you can still find houses around the $300,000 mark in great shape, which in the greater Portland area are sometimes hard to find. There's some great opportunities in there for multi-units and investments like that. So Westbrook is a great town to invest in because there's still pockets of it that are still getting cleaned up and values appreciating. So it's still at a good point to invest in. Some other things here, mill towns. There's a ton of mill towns all over Maine. I recently took my family to East Millinocket of all places. And, since the mills closed up there, a lot of things have happened, but they're really starting to try to find ways to build that town up. And that could be a great town to look at. Commercial and residential property in a lot of these areas can be priced very, very well right now in these old mill towns. They're really just amazing places to invest in. They really are. All these towns are really doing a good job and really trying to build back up from when it was a strong mill town. Towns like Biddeford, I've had my eyes on Biddeford for a while. Biddeford could still be a great investment. The town of Biddeford is putting a lot of money into their downtown area and their infrastructure. Property values they're already starting to go way up. And I think there's a lot of room for appreciation in Biddeford. Still some great neighborhoods there that are in the process of being cleaned up and fixed up as properties turn over and people are fixing them up. I think over the next, 15, 20 years, we're going to see Biddeford become this just amazing town. Kind of similar to what Westbrook has done. They're really kind of following suit there, except Biddeford's a nice waterfront town and on the coast and all that kind of stuff. It's funny. We wrote down some notes here. It's one of these towns, like if you're driving through a small town and you start seeing all these like artist shops and coffee shops, popping up, it's usually a good sign that, people are really starting to move there and invest in there. It's a good sign that, hey, might be time to look at investing in those towns. So anyway, guys, that's the end of my notes here. Hopefully this was some great information for you. If you have any questions, comment below. Remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. And remember, if you make Maine your home, you don't have to do it alone.
Really good. I'm very glad I picked the